Hello, and welcome to my Paladins tutorial. Paladins is a game in the hero shooter genre. This means that you get to choose a character, each with a different set of skills, and go head to head against other players. In this tutorial, I will be teaching how people new to the genre can get started and be an effective team player. To start, I'm going to immediately pick a specific character and lock in as that character. What this does is it lets the rest of the team know what character you want to play and allows them to plan accordingly. Now we have a match ready. You're going to see the first thing
Siege.
I do is click the support
Choose
tab
your
and choose
champion.
this champion, Ceres. Now as you
Customize
can
your
see, I have them
champion.
all unlocked, but you'll only have a few. My recommendation is Ceres because
Things
she's one
that
of the simpler
were,
characters to play.
things that
You'll
are,
only have one of
and
these
some
unlocked, and you're going to
things
want to choose
that
the
have not
card
yet
set that
come
has
to
the same name as the
pass.
talent you pick. Auto purchase should be enabled by default, but if it's not, you can press I to open up the inventory,
I've bought this
and
before.
just like that, you can automatically purchase things without having to go into your inventory every time you die. I
Five,
do recommend
four,
learning about the inventory at some
three,
point, but
two,
it's
Don't
not
worry
absolutely
then.
one.
essential right
Opponent
now.
And
pale
so
Steve.
it
So I'm
begins.
going to show you a little bit of the gameplay loop with Ceres, which is mostly just healing and then shooting a few orbs. So Ceres can heal with her right click, which you'll see me do quite often, and then her left click shoots those orbs you see coming out of her hand. Now, her heal has about a 2-second cooldown, so you'll see I'll shoot a couple of orbs in between each heal. You can also always, as a healer, keep an eye on your teammates' health and positions. You can't heal through walls as Ceres, however, uh, being able to see your teammates through walls allows you to go and help them if they're low on health, like I do here. So right now we're capturing the point,
This
and I'm
reality's
staying kind of
promising.
behind because as a healer, I don't have a ton of use outside of supporting my team. I can't really go out in the front lines and fight myself. So, yeah, that ability that you see right here is Ceres's shift ability. It's really helpful if you get into trouble, start getting low on health. Um, and what you're about to see here is Ceres's Q ability. So I'm going to heal my teammates up, shoot a couple of orbs, and then after shooting orbs, I press Q, and you'll see that not only does damage to the enemy that I just shot at, but it also heals me. So you can know if Q is going to work is you'll see these little purple numbers pop on top of your opponent's heads. And that pretty much explains all of Ceres's gameplay. So you're going to right click to heal your team, left click to shoot a few orbs, and then if you get low on health, you can press Q to detonate what are called those soul orb stacks. And then here you're going to see me use both Q and shift. So you see I start getting low, I detonate my stacks to get some health, and then I go invincible. And with that, we are about to win. The whole point is just to push this payload by standing next to it, and that's how you win a Ceres. So next I'm going to show you how to play a character called Victor. Victor is a damage character, so we're going to start by clicking
Siege.
the damage tab
Choose your
and
champion.
immediately pick and lock in.
Customize your champion.
So Victor is a little bit more of a Call of Duty style character. So his left shift ability is to sprint.
Prepare for
He
battle.
has Q as a grenade, and then right click aims down the sights, and left click shoots. Um, in general, he's fairly basic, but you do have to have decent aim. My recommendation is just to practice, practice, practice. There's
Five,
really
four,
no way of getting
three,
better at aim
two,
that I can
one.
think of than just to
And
keep
so
playing.
it
Um,
begins.
so yeah, we're gonna start. I'm going to immediately aim down at the point, see if anyone comes. Since I don't see anyone, I run around. See me fire off a couple shots. I
First
miss a few,
blood.
hit a few. I don't have the best aim either, but Victor is nice because he has that grenade. So I'm able to do damage even if I can't see somebody because the grenade bounces off walls. It has an area of effect, and you'll just see me running around, going back and forth. That's a lot of what Victor does. You're going to want to stay very mobile. His left shift ability doesn't have a cooldown. You can use it whenever you want, so it's very helpful to flank around enemies, or to get out of danger, or even to run into danger and start the firefight if you can get the drop on somebody. So you'll see me go out again, and I'd like to explain a little bit about Victor's grenade. So as I said, you press Q to activate the grenade. Um, it has a timer, as all grenades do. If you hold down Q, then he'll do what's called cooking the grenade, which means you'll run down that timer without exploding yourself. He'll automatically throw it if you run down the timer, so don't worry about hurting yourself. Um, so yeah, I'm standing next to the payload. If you can see that blue circle around me, that's the area we have to stand in, that my team has to stand in order for us to push this payload. Here, I'm just shooting around a corner in case anybody comes out because I don't see anybody. And the grenade can be difficult to get a hang of as well. My suggestion for that, again, is just practice, practice. So whenever your grenade is off cooldown, would recommend going ahead and throwing it, so you can see what the arc is like, how long you need to cook it, things like that. Um, as you can see, we are right up on the end here. And I'm just going to do as much damage as I can, throwing grenades, shooting down the middle. Um, but I saw a few of my teammates die. You can see with those little circles with a teammate's face in it, that means that they're dead. Um, Here, I'm actually buying items. What you just saw is I pressed I when I died, and I bought a few items. If you want, you can go back and
30
see the items I
seconds remaining.
purchased. There are only 16 items in total. Um, each of them, it describes what they do. There's nothing that's incredibly fancy. Um, oh yeah, this is
10
something I haven't
killing,
shown yet. It's
15
called an
seconds
ultimate.
remaining.
So that is your E ability, where each character has a specific
7,
powerful ability.
6, 5,
And that's going to
4,
charge in the lower
3,
right. Right now you see it's at
2,
65%
1.
on my character.
Overtime.
And I don't really get to use it here, but if you do end up with 100%, you can use that ability on Victor in order to uh, drop bombs down on your enemies. So now I'm going to show a character named Lex. Um, you'll notice I actually was trying to film for Victor. So I click the damage tab, but then somebody picks Victor before me. So I'll click the flank
Siege.
tab, and
Select
as a
a
flank,
champion.
I'm going to play a character named Lex. This is me realizing I can't choose Victor
Lex.
and picking Lex instead.
Customize your champion.
Um, Now at any point during the game, you can press and hold the letter K, and that is going to show you all of your character's abilities, what they do, give you some information about them. Um, of course, you don't see me do that here because I already know their abilities, but if you're just starting out as a new character, you can spend these 40 seconds, especially if you don't have to buy items, you can spend those seconds learning about the character. So Lex plays differently than the two characters we've played so far. You notice Saris and uh, Victor both wanted to kind of stand behind and shoot from afar. You're going to see what I do as Lex is I play a lot more aggressive. And the
Killing
reason for
spree.
that is because Lex is a flank. Now, I'm not going to run down the middle and try to get kills that way. Instead, what I'm going to do is try to pick off the enemy one at a time, either when they're alone or when no one else is paying attention. So Lex carries two pistols, and you can just hold down left click and you'll start shooting them. That right there is his Q ability. He has an interesting kind of complicated mechanic, so I'll try to explain it as simply as I can. Um, Lex has a specific target, and that target changes whenever you die or when you press Q. If you kill that specific target, then you get extra credits to buy more items in the shop. If you have the discovery talent on, which should be the only talent you have, it also lets you see your target through walls and you do extra damage to them. Um, he also has his left shift, so if you remember, Ceres's left shift was to go invincible, get out of trouble. Victor's left shift
Enemy
was to
killing spree.
sprint, also can get him out of trouble. And that's kind of a common thing just among the left shift is it's generally a movement ability. So for legs, he does a little combat slide. It just reduces his hitbox size and lets him move a little bit faster for a second. And it recharges pretty fast. It doesn't have a long cooldown. Finally, what you'll see every now and then when I right click, I go into third person. And what that's doing is it's shooting out of my pistols, um, but you don't have to aim. It'll automatically hit the closest target in front of you, and it'll also it doesn't use ammo. So you don't have to worry about if you're out of bullets, you can still use your right click ability. You'll see here, I'm also hiding because if you hide for long enough, you'll start to regenerate health, and I wasn't getting healed, so I went and hid for a while. I'm pressing Q to change my target. I can see her right here. I take this one a little bit slow, just because I'm not the best at aiming, and I wanted to make sure I hit my shots. Uh, One thing that's going to be difficult is learning all the other characters. As you can see,
Victory.
that Tiberius spinning throughout the air, that is a little bit hard to predict when you're just new coming in. It's hard to know what the enemies will do, but the more you get a feel for what each character
Siege.
does, the better you'll be able to
Select
counter
a
them.
champion.
So this time I'm choosing the frontline
Customize
character,
your
which
champion.
is basically a tank. A lot of games call these types of characters tanks. And your goal is to stand on the point and draw enemy fire. So um, the way that you'll play
The
Khan
battle has
is you'll
begun.
generally want to go straight to the point. As long as you have a healer with you, you can go straight to the point, and he has a shield which you can activate by pressing right click. Uh, the shield doesn't have a ton of health, but it does regenerate over time. And you'll see what I do is I shoot in order to get people to focus on me, and then I'll pull up my shield while the healer heals me from behind. The whole time I'm making sure to stand on the point so that we can activate the payload. So the way most of these siege maps work is there's a point in the middle. You stand on it, or the tank will stand on it, and you'll build up that meter at the top that's at 63% right now. And once it gets to 100%, we get to push the payload. Now, the opposite is also true. If the enemy stands on this point, then they will also be able to get their payload and push it to the end. Now, while we watch a little bit of the con gameplay, this is not as nuanced. It's a lot of just block shoot. So I'm going to explain a little bit about Siege itself. If you activate the payload and your team gets it, you're going to get a point. And you need 4 points to win. The other way to get a point is if you push the payload that you've gotten all the way to the enemy team's base. Now, there is a sort of catch, if you could call it that, where if you're not able to push the payload all the way to the enemy's base, they also get a point. So even if you capture the point originally, if you don't push it all the way, you stay at the same number of points.
Enemy
Now,
killing spree.
what you might notice about that is if you can't push it all the way to the enemy team, you'll end up at a tie, right? Well, that's not quite right, because once you get 3 points to 3 points, the next person to capture that point wins. So
Enemy
Paladins
killing spree.
is, uh, I guess somewhat unique in that it actually doesn't matter much how you do in the beginning of the game. What really matters is how you do towards the end. So that's Khan's ultimate that I just used right there. I pulled an enemy and then threw them off a cliff. Um, and I'll go ahead and explain a couple of Khan's other abilities. So as you can see, left click is shoot, right click is shield. You'll notice something else I do is occasionally I'll press Q, and that just heals me and all allies around me. And then he also has a shift ability, and that allows him to dash forward, and that was it right there, that shift ability. It allows him to dash forward, he'll grab an enemy and throw them behind him. You can use this to throw people off cliffs, or you can use this to get people off the point, or you can use this to get people into the middle of your allies so that it's easier to shoot them. So it's a very effective ability, but it doesn't have a super long range, and it does have a decent cooldown. It does take a bit to come back up. We're not going to be able to push this payload all the way. As you can see, we only have 5 seconds left before the next round starts. But if you want, you can look at the top, and you're going to see we have 1 point, they have 0 points, and they're about to get a point once this overtime section ends, because they've successfully defended. They kept us from getting to their base. Here I tried to throw the Ash off the cliff, but there's just not quite enough range on it. And that about covers my Paladins tutorial. I hope you enjoyed, and I really hope that you'll decide to play the game. Um, it's free. It's even though it comes with a limited selection of characters, there is a rotating roster of characters that they'll allow you to try for a limited amount of time, and then you can actually use in-game currency that you collect just by playing to buy new characters. So I think it's a great setup and worth checking out. With that being said, I would really appreciate any feedback, and I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you. Bye.